Welcome to the Digital Economy Alliance, an organization advocating for legislation, regulations, government programs, and private initiatives to support a robust domestic IT and digital policy that ensures U.S. global leadership. We're also advocating for independent contractors, entrepreneurs, and business owners to help them succeed in the digital economy. Together, we can support innovative solutions that have a positive impact on society, creating social value and social profit. I want to invite you to join the Digital Economy Alliance to help us boost the quality of economic growth in America. Thank you. Happy Wednesday, everyone. That was a little video for the Digital Economy Alliance, a new organization that I announced yesterday. And we usually use Wednesdays for educational seminars, webinars. We invite some of our members. They discuss or they talk about topics that are important for our audience. But today I wanted to take this Wednesday, to introduce you guys to the Digital Economy Alliance, give you a little background about the reasons why I decided to start this organization. As some of you know, I've been working with small businesses for the last 13 years. And one of the reasons why I started the Hispanic Chamber of E-commerce, it was because I noticed a digital divide between the Latino business community and the general market. And from my perspective then and now, I saw that as an issue that it was stopping our economy from competing in a more robust way at the global level, giving our small businesses a bigger opportunity to promote their products and services in the economy. And we have seen over the last few months how important it is for small businesses to have a digital presence. Just to put some numbers out there and give you some perspective of where I'm coming from, the SBA invested over $800 billion through the PPP program. The e-commerce, the U.S. retail e-commerce sales last year were above $794 billion. This year, U.S. retail e-commerce sales are expected to be above $843 billion. So combining the 2 years, small businesses in America that have an online presence have sold products and services for over $1.5 trillion through the digital economy. That's the power of the digital economy, and that's why it's so important for American small businesses to have a strong digital presence, to be actively involved in the digital economy, because it's not just going to help them, but it's just going to help our country as a whole, and it's going to put us at a better position at the global level. Right now, the country that is leading the e-commerce industry is China. It's no surprise. They have invested a lot of money, a lot of resources into building this digital ecosystem in China over the last 20 years with the right policies, with the right support for entrepreneurs across the country. They have taken the right steps for Chinese small businesses to compete at the global level by leveraging marketplaces, like Alibaba, which is one of the largest in their country. Second largest one is Tmall, and then we have Amazon here in the U.S. So we have the ecosystem here in America to empower the small business community to compete at the higher level in a global scale. So I will introduce you to the Digital Economy Alliance today. Another reason why I started this organization is because I felt like there had been so many times where I've been involved in some meetings. I'm not going to say that I've been involved in a lot of campaigns and stuff, but I have had the opportunity to talk with people running for office or people in office about the importance of investing money in providing the right tools for small businesses to go digital. I mean, we have invested a lot of money over the last few months. There is more money coming to support small businesses with technical assistance programs. But I think that we have passed the time where we are in that stage where just like webinars, workshops, seminars, or expos, or that kind of stuff is going to help the small business community in our country. We have to start taking certain steps that are going to provide access to the resources and the tools that small businesses need to have hybrid business models where they can compete in their local markets, to the best of their ability, but at the same time, given the option to compete at the global scale, at the global level. Small businesses, local small businesses are no longer just local. They can be a local small business with a global outreach. And that is possible thanks to the internet and how fast the digital economy is growing across the world. There is no reason for American small businesses to be selling their products and services in some of the top 10 e-commerce markets in the world: France, England, Canada, etc. So we have to leverage those opportunities. But if we don't have many organizations like ours providing access to resources to the small business community so they can compete in the digital economy, and we're just investing money in providing them trainings and trainings and trainings, we are never going to get to that level where we need to be to stay competitive in every industry that is important for us. I know that right now we are leaders in the digital economy in many industries, but there are some where we're lagging behind, and that cannot happen. I mean, we have the perfect ecosystem here to empower the business community and other sectors in our economy to stay very relevant and very competitive at the global level. So I just mentioned some of the, let me share this, have a presentation I want to share with you real quick. So we have, or I'm sorry, I have shared with you the purpose of the organization. Let me move myself over here so I don't block the content. So I have shared with you the purpose of the Digital Economy Alliance, and I want to take this first opportunity to invite any community leader, any leader out there, professionals, business owners, anyone who is interested in contributing to the economic empowerment of our community, the business community, and Americans that are doing great things in many different parts of life, and they feel like the digital economy is playing an important role in those industries. I want to invite you to join this organization. My focus has been always the small business community and working with the small business community. But as you are going to see in this presentation, I want to start putting information out there so you can see like how deep the digital economy goes into our economy and how important it is to start regulating, issuing policy that is going to allow us to compete in the 21st century and moving forward. We still have policies and regulations that are dated, that are stopping us from being productive and from being the best that we can be. So we need to update some of those policies, talk a little more about the importance of the digital economy from whatever we're doing. Of course, again, my focus is mainly on the small business community and how we can leverage certain tools and resources that are going to help American businesses to compete better worldwide. We know that half of American small businesses don't have an online presence. Some of them believe that participating on the digital economy doesn't apply to them because they're so small. But we just saw it over the last few months. how some Americans that lost their jobs started an online business, or some businesses that were shut down because of the lockdown and the government's closing the economy, how they survived thanks to the digital economy, their ability to sell their products and services online. And that takes me to the next point in this presentation. We want to start advocating for policies and regulations that are going to foster digital entrepreneurship in our country, and not just startups that are going to be 100% just on generating profit, but we want to support organizations and startups that and businesses that have a social business model as part of their business model. I'm sorry that I'm being a little redundant here, but we want more businesses that are solving issues in our society or fulfilling certain needs that we have, but we want them to be um, more inclusive and help to solve some of the issues that are affecting our economy right now. So, for example, like homelessness and other uh, problems that we have in many parts of the country. So, we're going to be advocating for digital entrepreneurship, and we're going to support any regulation, policies, bills that foster the inclusion of business models, social business models. I'm sorry, as part of the plan. The other thing that a lot of people are already or leaders are talking about is the importance for America to become a leader in the 5G network. And we know that companies like Verizon and AT&T and T and some of the biggest wireless providers in the country are already setting up the 5G network across the country. So we want to support them, and we want to support any regulation that facilitates the expansion of a 5G network in our country, because of what it's going to represent for having a smarter infrastructure, like, for example, like the digitalizing railways, highways, electric power, etc. I mean, we can no longer be in the position where we are responsive to issues that are happening. We have to be proactive, right? So if we have access to all this technology, we have to have smart bridges, we have to have smart highways, so instead of letting them go down the drain in like 20, 30 years and then investing all this time to fix them, we can keep maintaining them based on data that we are collecting through technology, and being very smart about how we use the federal resources, which at the end of the day are taxes that we are paying. The next thing is that is extremely important is that we want to improve digital literacy. We cannot have Americans disconnected from the internet. We cannot have Americans that do not know how to use the internet for job searching, for training, for uh, starting businesses, for telemedicine, etc. So we want to support at any level, federal, state, local, policies, regulations, ideas, programs, initiatives that are going to help to uh, include all Americans in the digital economy. No American can be left behind. The next topic, which is important and it's already in conversations, like, well, so if everything gets automated, what's going to happen with jobs, and what's going to be the impact on employment? So we have seen in other countries that have automated a lot of processes, in different industries, how they have also implemented programs to help uh, workers to stay within the industry, leverage that knowledge that they have, but in the digital economy, in a process that is a little more automated, or how, and if for some reason uh, in they don't fit in a process that have existed, for many, many years, you can still support them with additional access to education, so they can start a business, so they can start working in a different industry where their knowledge can be applied to. You can have social security programs for these employees that are being affected by these changes in the industry, etc. I mean, it's just a matter of understanding those industries that can be highly impacted by automation, but automation is needed to stay competitive. So we want to make sure that we are proactive in terms of how we respond to those needs in the marketplace. We want to support, and just to I mean, switching subjects here. We also want to support the digital economy because it helps with emission reduction. The President Council of Advisors on Science and Technology of the USA pointed out in its Federal Energy Research and Development Plan for the 21st century that the application of industrial wireless technology is going to increase the efficiency of industrial production by 10% and reduce emissions and pollution by 25%. So anything that contributes to have a better environment. I know that the new administration is big on green initiatives, so that's why it's so important to support the wireless technologies that are gonna wireless technology that is gonna contribute to the green economy. Manufacturing plays a very important role in our economy. Unfortunately, over the last 5 years or so, it has been declining despite the big numbers. I mean, the manufacturing industry creates about 30 million jobs in our country. So it's a very important industry. And I think that we have lost a lot of manufacturing jobs to other countries. So I think now with the new trends that are happening around the world, it's time for us to advocate for the manufacturing industry, support manufacturing workers, and bring a lot of those manufacturing jobs back to America. And I think it is possible to make that happen if we have the right policies in place, if we have the programs that can facilitate small manufacturing firms to be in America and stay competitive worldwide, because they have an ecosystem around them here in the country that is going to support them to be successful at the global level. Okay, they don't have to go to other countries where labor is cheaper or they have other type of incentives. I think we need to bring a lot of those manufacturing jobs back to America because we have a very talented pool of workers here. They are very smart. They are very hardworking. So I think it is time for us to start investing the resources and everything that is necessary to give the manufacturing industry a boost. Of course, that the numbers are big right now because we have big industries that are keeping all these people employed, but we have lost a lot of manufacturing jobs with the mid-size and the small-size companies. And I think right now we have the opportunity to bring them back if we put the right ecosystem around them. Now, in terms of like public services, it's extremely important, especially at the federal, state, and county, city level, that we start utilizing some of the resources that we have to start optimizing different areas within the government, because I feel on the business side, I feel like oftentimes small businesses have to wait a lot of time to get a license approved just because they don't have enough, let's say, for construction, they don't have enough construction inspectors to go over the different plans and stuff. So if we start optimizing a lot of these processes, which is possible, with you can have like certified architects, with the city, so when they enter or upload a plan for a construction, that is gonna be in compliance with most of the regulations that that the city has. So if we start optimizing some of those processes, I think that the economy is going to just flow better. We're going to have a more positive impact at many different levels across the economy, healthcare, education. I mean, these are very important industries in our economy that or sectors. I'm sorry, in our economy that they need to be up to speed when it comes about the use of technology and the use of the right tools, so we can stay competitive at the global level. We cannot have children with access to laptops, and in the same county children with no access and no access to laptops. I mean, if we have a school district, every kid in that school district should have access to a laptop and an internet connection. And I think this is what is important for elected officials to start talking about how we can make the internet accessible to every American, regardless of what zip code they live in, what area they live in. It is extremely important that we provide access to the internet, and that we start to streamlining a lot of the process that are affecting productivity in many different sectors in our economy. I mean, in my personal situation, I can tell you, like with my son, we have had to go a lot of times to the hospital because of his heart condition, and sometimes it's impossible to believe that you just walk 100 feet and you are filling out the same form that you just fill out in the other room, just because those two computers are not connected. So when we start thinking about liability in the healthcare industry, private security in the healthcare industry and stuff, I think it's time for technology to come in, blockchain, artificial intelligence, and all that good stuff to streamline the healthcare system, make the the use of medicine accessible to all, cheaper, and I think that can be possible, by using all these tools that are gonna help to minimize the cost of operation, and other things that are gonna help to improve people's livelihood. So the last thing that I want to talk to you today, it's rural commerce. I've been reading a lot of research studies of what has happened in Africa, in Asia, in some parts of Latin America, how technology and the digital economy has contributed to give visibility to villages, producers in villages, in small towns, in all these areas, and give them access to global markets, thanks to an e-commerce strategy that was supported by many different organizations, and in those areas, right? We have seen research studies of groups in Latin America by the World Bank, groups in Latin America that have helped to reduce poverty thanks to the use of the internet as a business tool, thanks to providing these businesses in poor areas in these countries or in certain regions, with access to the internet, explaining how they can sell their products online. And that's one way to increase not just productivity, but the income for a lot of these families in those areas. So we're going to be doing a lot of work and anything that has to do with advocating and lobbying and supporting rural businesses in our country. That's something that is dear to my heart, and I'm going to be investing a lot of time on it. For anyone who wants to get involved, for anyone who wants to start advocating for the digital economy in your area, because this is a work that it's going to happen at many different levels, from talking to your city councils, to your county supervisors, to your congressmen, your senators, community leaders, etc. We have to talk about the importance of the digital economy in whatever area you feel the most, motivated to participate in, or the most excited to participate in. Of course, that we're going to be doing a lot of work on the business side of it, But if you're interested in joining the Digital Economy Alliance, becoming a volunteer, advocating for the digital economy where you live, fill out this form, start creating a group of people that resonate or that connect with your ideas and what you would like to see in your community. So fill out the form, and we'll get in touch with you, and we will start building a really nice group of supporters that understand the importance of the digital economy to our country, again, in many different industries and many different levels. So there you have it. That's the website right there. And I just hope that eventually we can collaborate in this project. Again, it's a very important project for me. I feel like right now the middle class in America is at risk, to put it that way, because all I can hear lately is like, oh, let's take money away from the rich and give it to the poor. But that transaction right there can go so far, because the given, like, take away, I mean, money away from the rich to give it to the poor. At the end of the day, it's just like taxes. Is money that we're paying. So if you are not using those resources in a very efficient way, at some point, like, our children and our grandchildren are gonna be paying big time for that. So it's extremely important that right now that we recognize that the middle class, which oftentimes don't have access to programs that are for low-income Americans, because your your salary, I'm sorry, your revenue, it's above that threshold, and then you cannot leverage the system, for anything that rich folks can have access to it. So we are in the middle, and then we end up like paying taxes all over the place, but we cannot benefit from any of those programs that are out there, right? And for me, it's very difficult to understand why some politicians don't understand that if you allocate more resources to strengthen, to give more economic power to the middle class, a lot of the social issues that we have are gonna be fixed eventually. Because from my perspective, the American middle class, the small business are kind of like the backbone of our economy. So we need to leverage more resources to support Americans middle class and small businesses, and little by little you're gonna start getting rid of issues like homelessness and things like that. Because right now, for example, in California, if the cost of living just keep increasing, right now inflation is going up, and most likely it's going to keep going up, because we're printing more money and injecting it into the economy. So inflation keeps going up, and the cost of living keeps going up. Lower middle class, they are going to start getting pushed to poverty level. And most likely, if they live in California, and if they don't have a house, and they are renting and stuff, they are going to be in a very difficult situation. You just go to the Bay Area, there is this avenue called El Camino, near Palo Alto and Mountain View and all that, and you can see all these RVs of people that lost their homes, and they're still working, but they cannot afford rent in the Bay Area because it's so expensive. They cannot afford the cost of living because it's so expensive. So their solution to keep the jobs that they have was to buy an RV, live there with their family. So these were like middle class Americans that were forced by the system to end up in an RV because they didn't have access to affordable healthcare, because they don't qualify for it, right? So for example, we pay a lot of healthcare on a monthly basis because we are, self-employed, but we don't fit in that, bracket where we can get the good stuff. If we go to the doctor, I cut my finger and it was $2,400. I have to pay $1,700 out of my pocket, right? Someone else's that is not in my bracket cuts their finger, they get it for free. So, we don't have access to a lot of those programs, but we're paying for a lot of those programs. So I think it is time for many federal, state, county, city programs to start strengthening, giving more power to the middle class, so they can help us take the whole economy to the next level. One way of doing that, from my perspective, is by leveraging the power the opportunities that the digital economy provides to us. We just saw it over the last pandemic, how important it is to have an internet connection. Our children were taking classes online for those that had access to the internet and a laptop. Um, E-commerce increased. We were able to deliver, get our groceries delivered to our home, etc. I mean, it's so convenient. There are so many benefits about the digital economy from any perspective that you want to see it. What I'm gonna start doing is I'm just gonna start putting together some presentations where I'm gonna highlight in a little more detail some of this stuff that right now I'm just like talking out loud here, because I want you to see like the possibilities and the options and the opportunities that the digital economy brings to our life in so many different levels. And I think it is important, like I mentioned it earlier, to have a robust IT infrastructure and also have a digital policy that ensures US leadership at the global level. We have to be the leaders when it comes about the digital economy. And the one way that we can accomplish that is by advocating and lobbying and doing anything that we can to support the digital economy. There are other organizations in the US that are already doing it. And I'm gonna start reaching out to some of them because I wanna support the work that they are doing. Um, because they are doing a lot of research. They are already contributing a lot of good ideas to key leaders in our government. And we're going to be joining those efforts because the more that we are advocating for the digital economy, the better. And that's what we're going to be doing. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to make a donation, please do so. Go to the DEalliance.org to make a donation. Anything helps. And let me see if I forgot to tell you that if you guys have some questions, you can ask them. But I guess I didn't tell you that in the beginning. So I think well, if you guys ask any questions, I'm just gonna answer them. You know, on the chat because I cannot see the chat right now. Hold on, let me try this. Yeah, I can see it right now, but I will address. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, and I will answer whatever comments or questions that you left on this video. So in this live, I'm sorry. So thank you very much for watching. If you're a business owner, let me say it again: get online, start selling your products and services through your website or your social media profiles. Do it in any way that you feel comfortable, but please do it. Your local business has a global average, and you can do that through the internet. So thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate it. If this message resonates with you, of the purpose of the Digital Economy Alliance, connects with some of the work that you are doing, please reach out. This is a joint effort. Let's collaborate and let's do the best that we can for our country. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.